Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to look at something really cool. I love RC tanks. You guys probably do too. But you know, growing up, when I was younger, RC tank was pretty expensive to buy a tank. Tamiya made them. But man, those things could cost $400 to $800, $900. As a kid, you couldn't afford something like that. And even nowadays, with like the hang long tanks, those are still a couple $100. That's why I was really excited to get my hands on this new little RC tank by JJRC, because this thing is pretty darn cool and it's really inexpensive. I think it's like less than $40. Let's take a quick look at the box that it comes in. It has some of the graphics here on the, you know, in two different colors it comes in. You know, traditional, more, this is a German looking tank here, and this looks like more like the American tank on the sides here. And the model number on this tank is a traditional naming conventions by JJRC is the Q85 here. They've also got the control schemes here on the side, which I'll go over in just a minute. So here is the tank, and it's, you know, it's not nearly as big as the you know, like the hang-longs or Tamiyas. It can get quite large, but it's a much smaller tank, but it's still got pretty good detail on it. It's got some authentic sounds and movements. It supposedly, I guess, will rock back and forth like it's shooting the main cannon here in the front, which that surprises me. At least it says it does that. I've not actually driven this yet, so we'll have to wait until we actually get out for the review, but I didn't expect that from something at this price point. You know, it doesn't have smoke or anything like the hang longs and Tamiya. Some of those will have smoke and, you know, really authentic compared to this, but then again, this is way less money. So your battery compartment is down here on the bottom, and I've already had this open, but I don't have the screw out. But this is a rather large compartment, and the battery is just this little single lithium ion cell. It's just a 500 milliamp hour 1S 3.7 volt lithium ion. It's only 10C, really low C rating on that, which is fine for a tank like this. It does use a 2-pin kind of odd connector there, pretty common on nickel cadmium packs. I think that maybe this tank was originally designed to use like a 4 AA nickel cadmium pack in here, or maybe a 3, and a you know, 3 would put it at 3.6 volts, so it may have been a 3 cell, and they maybe decided to go with a lithium ion instead, maybe for cost. It's gonna be better, but you could certainly get a LiPo in there, a larger 1S. You could maybe go 2S, so I don't know. I mean, that'd be something that I don't know if I'd want to try, but it might be able to handle it, just because this compartment is rather large inside here. Again, it's this big. You know, it's much larger than this little bitty battery. They give you your little charger here, and it's going to take it, you know, not too long to charge that little battery up. But here's your little basic charger, and again, you'll need to use that since this thing does use one of those goofy connectors. And here is your controller. Here's your battery compartment on the back. You've got your your sound effects, and on the top here, let me look again at the instructions on the controls. And there it says again the recoil effect, so it should rock back and forth 270 degrees on the turret, and up to 45-degree climbing angle it says it can go, which is pretty good. But again, here it is on the top. This is on your top left here is your well, if I can get the box into the view here, your top left is your missile launch sound, and your top right is the gunfire. So I was trying to determine that by looking at this label, but this is your gunfire and machine gun, and this is your cannon on the front. And then you've got your turret controls to move this back and forth, you know, sideways up to 270 degrees. These are your, you know, forward, back. It's not true tank controls, you know, where you got two going forward, back, but this is your right and left. This is your forward and back. And I think this is your sound effects here, on and off, and then you're on and off for the actual controller. And then I'm just kind of cheat looking at the box here. And then they call that like your horn control or something like that for the sound. And on the top here, this is like the program. So I'll try to do that in a review outside. You can press this, program in some controls or movements, and then press it again, and then it will go and actually execute that. We'll have to see if that works. That's actually really cool, and something I would not expect at this price point. We'll see if that works. And this is like an auto demonstration. You press this and it's just going to do some little you know, auto programmed maneuvers, probably do some firing sounds and rock back and forth, whatever. We'll have to see what that does. Of course, I don't know what that all does. So again, your controls are pretty basic on this guy, but it's got a lot of the controls that you would like to see on a tank. And it says it's 2.4 gigahertz here, so it should be, you know, it's pretty modern. It should have good, pretty decent range, you'd hope. Though it's something this small, little tank like this, you're not going to drive this thing very far away. So again, I like the looks of this. It's got pretty darn good detail for something that's this inexpensive, even with the multi-colors here. We'll see what this little red light does on top. It looks like there may be an LED. We'll have to see what that does. Again, I've not tested this. I almost always test drive before I do a review, but I had caught some spare time here today, and it's really noisy with everybody always home. So it gave me a chance here. It's, you know, after 1 in the morning here on a Sunday night. And I'm going to film this now and try to drive it tomorrow. So that's why I'm doing a little bit backwards this time, guys. So yeah, this is pretty darn cool, and I really do like the looks. I wouldn't mind having the German looking one too. At least that's what it looks like to me. It looks like similar color to my Hang Along Tiger 1 tank, at least on the way that it's colored. So it'd be cool to have both of these and do a little battle. But yeah, this looks pretty good. We'll see how it does when I get it out and drive it. But my first impressions are pretty good. And again, for under $40, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. That's impressive if this thing does do well. So check the video description if you're interested in this, because this will make a great gift if you're into military stuff or you always want an RC tank, because it's so inexpensive. You literally can't go wrong. And I even see I got an ant crawling across the table here. These little black ants have been invading this time of the year everywhere in my house, and it's driving me nuts. All right, guys, that's enough for the table review portion of the little JJRC tank. Let's go on outside now and let's see just how this guy does on its driver view. So be right back. Alright guys, so I have the JJRC tank outside now. I'm going to take it out now for this test drive. Now I did do a very brief test drive inside my house before I brought it out today, but you know, after I filmed that table review, just so I could test a few things out. And it does do a little rock, and you know, when it's firing sound, and you can program some moves in, which I'll show you. This thing is really, I'm super impressed with this guy for the price. So we'll take it around, we'll drive it around in the grass, on the rocks. I want to see how it does, because obviously I don't know, you know, how its power is and how it's going to do outside, but it was just fine indoors. So let's go ahead and we'll turn it on here. And they go ahead and turn on the controller, and it'll bind up there. And it's got that tank sound. You can turn that off if that annoys you. We'll leave it on for outdoors. If you're going to drive this indoors, you might want to turn that off. It'd drive you crazy, but outdoors, it's not such a big deal. So let's go ahead and see how it does. Set it down. Let's back up here, and here we go. I do notice that you kind of have to really press hard on the controls here. At times it kind of cuts out, and it seems like I'm just not pressing hard enough. So that might be something to keep in mind if you've got this for a smaller, for a kid or something, because you really do have to press hard. If you just do it a little bit here, see, look, it's not going. You have to really press that hard. It's doing okay. It's struggling a little bit here. I just mowed the grass, but it's doing. It's still going. I mean, it's a tank, so you expect it should be able to. But, oh, there we go. It made it through. So I'm gonna try to get it. I think some of this grass is kind of getting caught up in those rubber tracks. I did throw a track when I was inside, but it was really easy to pop it on. Way simpler than the Hang Along tanks. Those tracks come off, and that's some work to get them on. Could also be some of these water balloon scraps from my kids. Maybe it's getting caught on that too a little. I want to show you guys the let's see if we can make it over this. Oh, There we go. I want to show you some of the machine gun and some of the sounds. I've got my my pool pump going here, so it's gonna be a little hard to hear over that. So let me let's do it now. I'll just turn off my pool pump here. Let's turn this off, and then I'll cut out some. There we go. That's a lot better, guys. I usually turn that off ahead of time. I forgot to. So now we can hear the tank a lot better. Let's do some of the. Here's the machine gun fire. Sounds pretty similar to my hang along machine gun fire. And let's do the shooting the front large cannon there. And it makes an explosion sound. It does rock. I'll do it again here, but you can't see it rock. It's kind of sitting up on top of that some of these rocks. So let me put it on the concrete here. You guys can then see how it rocks. It was kind of getting it was on top of one of those large rocks and it couldn't move. So let's put it right here and move this back, and let's try that again. Here, let's try it. You can see it rocks, and then I won't talk and you guys can hear. And then it makes the explosion sound. Now let's rotate the turret. That is pretty neat for a little toy tank. It's really inexpensive. It's pretty quick to turn around, a lot like my hang along tanks. This is really neat. Seems to have pretty decent power too. It's not great, but then again, this is a really small tank, so it's going to be a little harder to have it go through really thick grass and such compared to a larger tank. So let's do now. Let's show you the like demo mode. Drive forward. It does some spins. It's firing its gun, and it fires the main cannon in the front there. To cancel it, you're probably just going to press the button again, and now it's canceled. And then let's go ahead and do some program moves here. I'm going to do this again on the concrete so that we don't have any issues with the tank getting caught up in the grass or something. So the program, let's go press the button, the program, let's go forward twice, then let's try turning, and then let's turn the turret a little bit, and then let's fire the main gun here, let's fire the machine gun, and then let's go ahead and press go. There it goes. It's turning the turret, then it fired the gun, and then the machine gun. All right, that is pretty darn cool. So if you always wanted an RC tank like myself, but it's just out of the budget, this would be a great way to start. Because it does most of your basic commands, and it's not going to break the bank. Now, it doesn't have the ability to raise the front gun like my hang along. It doesn't shoot any projectiles. The hang along shoots little airsoft BBs, and that also has smoke. This does not have smoke. So yeah, you can't expect all that for well under $50. Make it up here. Oh, it's going to get caught. Some of the big rocks, it may have trouble. Oh, well, there it goes. Oh, it's kind of getting caught, but it's still going. Yeah, this is a neat little tank. I really like this. I know my daughter, my youngest one, you may hear her banging on the window. She wants to come out and play with this. She's gonna love this. And I'm impressed with the detail. I thought this thing would look cheaper than it is for being such an inexpensive military tank. There's also a German version, you know, with that more grayish gunmetal type coloring that it has. Go ahead and turn off the sound there. Alright guys, I think that's enough. We've shown you what it can do. You know, all those command moves are really cool. The sound effects are nice. You know, and it seems to me, I've already driven it quite a bit, and it's not dead. Really, it's got decent power, and like I said, it's inexpensive and it looks cool, and it's gonna look cool sitting on your shelf, no matter if you are an adult like me or a teenager. This tank's gonna look pretty cool sitting on your shelf, and it's always fun to get something like this out and play with it. I think this would probably be fun in the snow. A little snow in the winter time would be cool on this little tank as well. Alright guys, so if you're interested in this little tank, you can pick this up at Banggood. I will include a purchase link to this because I had not seen this tank before, so I assume it's new, and you can pick it up for, I want to think it was like 38 bucks, but don't hold me to it because I did get this free for review. But it is not very expensive, and it's really going to make a nice gift for a big kid like myself, or a teenager, or even a 10-year-old. Alright guys, that wraps up the review of the JJRC tank. If you have any questions, be sure to ask me, and I'll do the best I can in the comment section. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Click that bell so you know when I do upload new videos. And as always guys, have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.